Good morning and welcome to a special edition of Humpday. I've got with me Amber Thomas, the Vice President of Advocacy for AMT, Chris Chidzik, one of our analysts at AMT, not only the head of running USMTO, but prior to coming to AMT, he was a very politically oriented person working on Capitol Hill and in home offices for a number of different representatives, and having worked at a particular company that found a way to legally bet on elections through an index system. But that's a story for a different time. So this morning's been an interesting day, huh, guys? Not that we didn't expect it. I think, Chris, I'll start with you because you said, wow, if Biden doesn't run away with it, then it's going to be ugly. How ugly is it?
It's not. It's very, very close. And, as soon as I said that, I knew I was going to have to spend the beginning of the show explaining why it was wrong. So if you look at the electoral maps right now, it really, at the time I went to bed last night, it came down to Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Just like in the last election, Biden was able to flip Arizona blue, which you might also be able to attribute to the competitive Senate race there. Aside from that, the map looked almost exactly the same as 2016. So you need two out of the three of Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan to win. And Biden and Trump literally had the exact same path to victory at the end of the night. So it was a close race, and it could go either way at this point. With some of the votes coming in Wisconsin and Michigan, it does look like Biden's going to get those requisite two, and Pennsylvania for once might not matter.
I mixed feelings about that. I hate that anytime we have to say that somebody's votes aren't going to matter. But it seems also, if you're right, that this might shorten the process, because certainly the expectations are there are going to be some legal actions taken, and most of those have been aimed at Pennsylvania. If you take Pennsylvania out of the equation, I would guess that would end the legal action as well, right?
I forget exactly what the issue was, but I did hear on CNN last night that the Trump legal team was putting in a couple challenges to certain numbers of votes. It didn't seem like there were that many votes, maybe a couple thousand. But as of right now, Trump is leading by about almost over 500,000 votes in Pennsylvania. So whatever that legal challenge was, the number of votes might end up just being a moot point.
Yeah. I will bring up, when you talk about Pennsylvania, the fact that it's down to a 500,000 vote margin. Biden definitely has made some inroads as they begin counting the ballots, because at one point it was 900,000. I saw it at 700, and if it's 500, that's why there are so many races that are either too close to call, and I think Pennsylvania is one that's just too early to call. So, yeah, I mean, I would just say Democrats underperformed last night, way below expectations, definitely of Democrats, but I think Republicans are pretty surprised at the outcome. The House, it looks like, will not gain the bigger majority that it looked like they might before Election Day. The Senate, to me, looks to be holding into Republican hands. I think a net one has been gained on the Democrat side. So it's very different results today than many were expecting, even yesterday. So it was a very long night.
Last night, I think it was right around 10:30 or 11 o'clock, CNN was talking to a couple of the clerks that are responsible for elections in major hubs around the state, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the number they were bounding around was that there was a million mail-in ballots that had to be counted, and that they expected that they would get just several 100,000 done before they would take a break for the evening, and that I guess they couldn't start until election day, and they still expecting several 100,000, maybe as much as another 400,000 mail-in ballots to come in the course of the next 4 days, which has always been legal in Pennsylvania if you had a reason not to come. And the question that the Trump case would say, having a pandemic is not the reason for doing absentee ballots. So it should be interesting. I think there definitely will be some interesting legal questions, and it's a question about how far they will get before they get stopped or answered.
Hey, Pat, you bring up the maybe, well, there is a protracted decision on who actually wins, but then with the legal battles, what impact do you think? I see the stock market was up today, technology, and, the Dow. That's great news compared to what happened last week. What do you think will happen with the uncertainty continuing? Or, if it doesn't and we have a winner sooner and it looks to be a clear winner?
Oh, well, from my point of view, the stock market, is something that reacts to small changes violently often. And I think that if we have a case where there is a disputed election, and this happened back in Gore Bush, there was a moment of, and people really didn't know where it was going, and that created concerns, and so there was a little bit of movement in the stock market back then. Not as dramatic as we've seen in the last few days in this election. I do believe that if there's a lot of legal action taken, if we hear more hyperbole from either side about election stealing and cheating, and that creates a concern about the entire process that will have people not only in the United States but across the globe wondering about the stability of government. I don't think there's any risk, but when there's a void of answers, people tend to put drama in. Would you agree, Chris?
Yeah, literally when you asked that question, I started looking at what some of the indices are doing, and everything seems to be up this morning. Gold is down, oil's up. I think one of the factors that's really leading to this is it's most likely going to be a Republican Senate and a Democratic House. So Biden or Trump, there's not going to be entirely unified government. So the worst of everybody's fears coming from either the left or the right are kind of assuaged, knowing now that there's going to be at least one half of the Congress checking whomever the president is. That does lead, while it may not get things done, it does lead to a good degree of business certainty that whatever the rules are right now aren't likely to change in the next 2 years.
Yeah, but with the way it splits, and this is the question to either one of you, the way that the Senate seems to likely split, there won't be a Senate that's going to be capable of a veto override, right?
Correct, yes.
So if it's a Democratic Senate and a Democratic president, or if it's a Republican president and a Republican Senate, it does sway the balance on legislation.
Well, then there'd be a Democratic House, and they can't override a Republican veto.
Oh, I guess that's true. That's true.
I think when you close that,
no matter who wins the presidency, you're going to have to get both sides of Congress on board with something.
Could you say that again, Chris?
Oh, I was going to say, no matter who ends up president, it looks like they're going to have to deal with a divided Congress either way.
Yeah, history's shown though that that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, certainly Reagan had that situation. Clinton had that situation, and they both managed to get quite a bit done.
So when's everybody predicting that a winner will be decided as far as the president goes? I think the Congress might take a little longer to decide some of those races. But what do you think? We have happy hour we're hosting this afternoon. Will we know what's going to happen by then?
I think we'll be drinking more and talking less. I think it's going to be no earlier than Thursday and probably Friday before we can, get our hands around what's going to happen with Pennsylvania. And I agree with Chris and you, Amber, that Pennsylvania, no matter who's leaning, that at any one point, Pennsylvania is going to go down to the wire. And probably the last several tens of thousands of ballots will help decide what's going to happen.
If Biden takes the other states, I think, like Chris mentioned, that becomes, I guess, moot. And so we may know earlier.
That's true. Wisconsin's talked about being able to say something sometime after lunch, their time.
They've got 97% of the vote in, according to the New York Times. Michigan has 90% of the vote in. And like we say, Pennsylvania, only 76%. So there's a long way to go in Pennsylvania. Yeah. Arizona, I think you mentioned, Pat, it has already been declared by the Associated Press in Biden's favor. I haven't seen any other. The Post and the New York Times, NBC have not called Arizona yet. So who knows?
If you look last night at about where the vote wasn't counted in Pennsylvania, a lot of the smaller counties that generally go toward Trump were reporting 90s, 95s. It was primarily Allegheny County, Philadelphia, Bucks, Montgomery, Chester, which were in the 20s to 30% reporting, which was actually really funny. I saw an article, or I saw a projection that Philadelphia County wanted to have at least 50% of the vote reported by 11 o'clock. And I was like, I don't think that's going to happen.
No, they're
that doesn't happen.
Try it one more time, Chris.
No, I was saying, like, even without mail-in ballots, usually Philadelphia doesn't report half by 11 o'clock.
And that's why, we need to caution, if anybody is looking at it as closely as we are, that some of these margins could shift substantially in either candidate's favor as these votes that were mailed in or early are counted, and the absentee ballots.
Well, in the last minute here, I think you had a good question, Amber. So let's put some gravitas to it. Chris, half day, Thursday, this afternoon, Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, Friday afternoon, or sometime after Friday afternoon. When will we know?
I'm going to say, barring any lawsuits or anything, this afternoon.
There you have it. We'll be able to talk about Amber? The president. I agree with Chris. I think we'll
happy hour will start with me explaining why that was wrong too.
Yes, exactly. But don't listen to us.
I think the big proviso you put on there about barring any legal, I doubt that we're either for either Democrats or Republicans that there won't be at least 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 legal challenges that have to be sorted through. I think some of them get dismissed quickly, but I do think it will be a while before we get a done deal. Hey, so Amber, any last thoughts before we leave?
No, I'm eager to see you guys this afternoon, and we can talk about what happened in the meantime.
That sounds fantastic. Talk to you then this afternoon, and hope that all you here with us this morning will join us this afternoon. And we've got a good variety of opinions here on our Hump Day chat, and we'll at the happy hour this afternoon, and we expect you to participate and give us your 2 cents as well. So till then, all the best.
Thank you.